Welcome back, everybody. We've got the fifth iteration of the In the Cockpit podcast coming up for you today, and yeah, of course, unfortunately it's just me and Sean today. We got rid of our special guest, kicked him out, but of course we've got an exciting one today. We're going to obviously go through the recap of the HD season so far in Monaco, but also have a look at our F1 predictions for the upcoming season and see how well Sean knows his stuff. So I've just thrown in some names randomly. Just don't know where they are, and we'll see how they match up because I'm sure Sean's been keeping an eye on it, all testing all the results and how the car's going to be performing realistically as well. So yeah, looking forward to that, of course. But yeah, how you doing, Sean? You all right?
Oh, I'm not too bad, Alex. How about you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Had a lovely week away in Birmingham for work, so now I'm back, and
Oh,
yeah, I'm enjoying not being in Birmingham now, so that's good. So, but yeah, we'll start off quickly with the recap, obviously, of how HD went. Of course, we had the famous street circuit of Monaco in the for the HD round 8, I believe it was. And yeah, well, to be fair, like it's one of our tracks that I thoroughly enjoy because it's a street circuit. So there you go. But how did it go for yourself, Sean?
I was leading.
I
And then it
was
went.
I was surprised at that point. I was like, I hope there's a red flag at this situation because we need a red flag for this.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. It's because I was on an alternative strategy. Um, Basically, my turn one antics. I'm surprised I didn't get penalised because I'm sure I cut. I did our Lord and Savior. Basically, I cut the first corner, but for some reason, Codemasters didn't penalise me, so I carried on.
Fair enough. Well, you got away with it, so
Yeah.
yeah, no good. And one of the interesting things about Monaco or racing around Monaco in the game is that it seems like there's no safety cars anymore. So, I
Mm.
mean, did that sort of play a factor in your strategy calls and whatnot, or did you just yeah carry on and hope hope and pray?
I was kind of hoping for people to fall off the road, and to be fair, Division 6, not many people fell off the road, so yeah. So I stayed out for as long as possible, and then I was just going to throw on the soft tires towards the end. Didn't work out that well, and because Division 6 is, because of all of HC is so high quality, it's so difficult well, it's just so difficult really because I was expecting to come out in P5, P6. I was down in 9th or 10th, I think, just because of the lack of mistakes from other drivers, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, at least you made it to the finish line, and that's something good to say about Monaco, I suppose, in some cases.
I can't remember if I did or not, to be honest. I
Oh
know
no!
it.
Well, I'm pretty sure you made it to the finish line, but I think you were 12th or something in the end because you weren't in my top 10 when I did the top 10.
No,
Um,
something went a bit askew.
yeah, but we saw obviously like I said throughout the divisions it was actually good quality racing overall. I think like I said we didn't have any safety cars because the game doesn't want to put the safety cars out for any incidents in Monaco for some reason, even though all of the races I believe were on sort of standard safety car rate. So it was quite odd that it's been an issue with this game since the game came out. I believe it was as well because I don't think there was any safety cars last season either in any division. So yeah, I suppose it's a saviour in some ways because otherwise we'd have too many of them. But because it's just quite easy to break a wing round Monaco, isn't it? So yeah, like I
Hmm.
said, I think quite a few people had difficult races, but everyone seemed to be keeping going, keeping at it as well. I think one guy who springs to mind from my division, obviously in Division 7, was Slippery who just I think he was 4 laps down at one point, and he just kept on plugging away and kept on going. Got the driver of the day for it as well because he deserved it very well. I think to just carry on going until just to finish sort of P17 or something like that. But yeah, I think consistency and actually getting to that finish line was much more common in Monaco from the drivers as well, which was really nice to see than it was in other previous rounds as well. So, yeah, it just goes to show the credit and the determination from all the guys who participated in the Monaco Grand Prix throughout all divisions as well. So yeah, fantastic stuff from all the guys really. Um, yeah, and how is it to commentate on Division One, Sean?
Well, to be honest, Division 1 was a bit of a procession, really, because Slow Guy he just pulled away, really. It was it felt like Michael Schumacher era, really. Yeah, he absolutely dominated from lights to flag, really. No one, I think Julian was doing a very good job, albeit he only lasted 4 or 5 laps, unfortunately. He met a bit of an unfortunate ending in Casino Square, but but Sligo was fantastic throughout all of it. He was just untouchable. It was very interesting to see what was going on behind him. It was quite a thoroughly enjoyable race. We had I think we had a gaggle of cars with Emerson and Co in it, so pretty interesting stuff. Gurman was back to his best as well, which is good to see, the world champion. But unfortunately, he had issues at the swimming pool section, which ended his race. He's in good company because I think Rosberg has done it as well there. But
quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few. We can go on for ever and a day on that one. Yeah, unfortunately, Gurman retired from the Grand Prix, so that was a shame. But it was good to see Gurman back up there. Troy had a bit of a difficult event as well. Danger Times, I thought, really impressive because that is a Grand Prix that he didn't. I think he qualified 12th and he finished 5th in the end. Fantastic stuff indeed around Monaco. Really impressive stuff for Danger Times. I think the point swing was only 2 points in the end, so fair play to him. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I think just touching back on the Sly Guy sort of situation. Yeah, it seemed going even before obviously the race started, before qualifying started. It was almost a given that he was going to be on pole position and getting that race win. To be fair, so credit to him. To be fair, for putting in the work, and like I said, not many people want to put in the lap times, put in the practice around Monaco. So looks like he has done, and obviously got the win for it as well. So yeah, we'll see how things progress into Azerbaijan. Of course, another street track, one of your favourites. Of course, next round in round 9. Of course, by the time this has come out, of course, a few people have raced around Azerbaijan already, but I think everybody has probably as well. But yeah, I think what's your thoughts on Azerbaijan as a street circuit? Because of course it is a lot different to Monaco because it's much more high speed, but it's still got a few walls that can get in the way.
Yeah, as a Grand Prix to watch on spectate, I absolutely love it. I love Carnage; it's fantastic. The safety car restarts in Baku is absolutely fantastic. I think GP was before Formula 2. GP2 had an incredible race around there in 2016, and I must say that a lot of the sessions I've commentated on for Baku, very similar with league racing. Absolutely incredible stuff indeed. Superb safety car restarts cause absolute chaos, which I'm sure you don't like, Alex, and because you're mainly a steward in your admin life, so you probably grimace, but I love it.
Well, so long as nobody forgets to turn their brake magic off, then we should be okay.
Let's all do a Mark Webber then.
Yeah, well, we had a few errors in the real life F1 there as well, didn't we?
Yes.
Unfortunately, fortunately, in some cases, I don't expect any sort of tyres to be exploding around Azerbaijan in the league racing side of things. Of course, we had it was twice, wasn't it, in the actual F1 where we had it was Stroll, wasn't it, and Verstappen, of course, down the main straight that just had tyres that exploded on them. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen in league racing coming up, obviously for round 9 in HDE. But yeah, we'll look forward to that, of course. We'll talk about that obviously in the next podcast as well. Sort of do a recap on how that went and how things have gone and how Sean's done as well. I'm sure Sean will be winning his Azerbaijan Grand Prix on Tuesday.
That's a spoiler.
Oh, there we go. Spoiler alert. There we go. Done and dusted that one. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, of course, and take it from there. But yeah, we'll the next stage we're going to touch on. We don't have much sort of F1 news sort of that coming out this week because of course testing is underway in Bahrain. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, the actual Formula 1 season starts in about a week's time or so now, on the 20th of March, isn't it, on the Sunday? So yeah, looking forward to that. As you've just fallen off the screen there, Sean.
I got cramp in my knee. Carry on.
Well, I hope everything's all right. Yeah, so you don't need that in the race. But yeah, so of course, yeah, obviously the F1 testing is underway, and obviously we've seen quite a few differences in the cars and things like that, a few changes. Obviously, the no side pod Mercedes is one that sort of stands out, which is quite interesting. But yeah, other than that, they've just been going around doing a few laps around Bahrain, not Baku, around Bahrain. That is Sakir. Sorry, wrong one. So
that's a good shout, though. I would prefer Baku for pre-season. That would be epic, wouldn't it?
Do you reckon? I reckon they wouldn't get many laps in. There'd be red flags all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they get permission either, would they? Because they got to. Because I don't think they. Yeah. I love it.
Well, maybe one year we'll have a bit of Baku pre-season testing. That'd be great. But yeah, we'll see how that goes when that comes. But yeah, anyway, otherwise the drivers have been racing around Bahrain, I should say, for their obviously for the testing things like that. Of course, the race is coming up in on 20th of March, so looking forward to the very first F1 race of this season as well. What's your thoughts on how it's going to go, Sean?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I love it. I think, there's definitely going to be a winner, and there's definitely going to be a pole. Yeah, I'm not sure about the rest, though. What's going to happen in between?
Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. Right.
Yeah. This is the kind of content you come here for, everyone.
There we go. Yeah, for fantastic content from Sean, and of course I didn't touch on it at the beginning. Of course, lovely background from Sean as well. So yeah, he's sporting the tropical island again. So fantastic stuff. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll go back to what I was going to say. What we were going to do, obviously, the next stage of the podcast is our predictions, of course, for the upcoming season. We're going to sort of take it step by step, go through the constructors first, from last place, so from 10th, if you would, Sean, as well. If you can reverse your list.
Love it.
And then we'll just sort of maybe explain why we put those teams first in those positions as well. Have a little bit of a chat about it, and then maybe go on to some of the drivers as well. I think we've got the top 5 of our predicted drivers as well to go over as well. So yeah, I don't know if you want to start us off, Sean, with your 10th place constructor that you're predicting for next season.
I've gone with Alfa Romeo.
Okay.
To be honest, they don't look. They look just there to be. Yeah, they haven't shown flashes of brilliance. I mean, Guan Yu Zhou, or is it Zhou Guan Yu now? I'm not too sure. I've seen a piece with Ted Kravitz, and I think he's now Guan Yu. I think he's now Guan Yu. He's now Zhou Guan Yu, isn't he?
I didn't see that bit, so yeah, well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they do when they actually put his name up on the.
Yeah, I'm going to get so confused.
On the timesheets.
But Zhou Guan Yu, which feels really odd. I mean, no disrespect to him. I think I'm based on Formula 2. We know how well that's gone in the past, haven't we? With Lando Norris, for example. He did all right in Formula 2, but Formula 1's been fantastic, hasn't he? But there you go. I don't think I think he's going to be fine, but I feel that he's going to struggle this year. Bottas, he's a safe pair of hands, isn't he? And I think that in qualifying, that's going to be Alfa Romeo's biggest asset, I reckon. But I don't think it's going to be enough to claw them out of 10th place.
No, that's fair enough. I've also gone for Alfa Romeo in 10th. I think pretty much the same situation as you've got there as well. I don't think they're going to have a car that's going to be able to compete for any points really this season. I think obviously the regulation change is going to impact on everybody, but I think in terms of development and what I've just heard about Alfa Romeo, which is pretty much nothing, honestly, then I don't see them being able to fight for points potentially like they were last season. Obviously, they have got the sort of safe pair of hands, and it's pretty much a carbon copy of replacing a fin with a fin, with Bottas stepping in Raikkonen's seat as well. But yeah, I don't see that car being able to perform even with Bottas. I think Bottas is a good driver, and like you said, he's done a good job at Mercedes. Having watched the Drive to Survive series,
have you watched the 4th series yet?
Yes.
Oh, I'm really behind.
Never mind. Well, anyway, he behaves and he acts like a good teammate, obviously in the Mercedes, like he has done with Lewis before in the previous 5 seasons. So I see him doing a good job in Alfa Romeo, but I don't see them be able to actually fight for any points. So that's why I put them in 10th as well. And I think with Zhou, who. Somebody, the other teammate from Bottas, being a rookie, coming up, like you said, from F2, we saw how difficult it was for the likes of Tsunoda last season. I don't think he's going to be able to get any points. So actually, I still think he'll be a good driver. It'd be good to have him on the grid to see what he's like. But I don't think they'll be able to sort of go any further than just competing for the bottom end of the table, basically. So yeah, that's why I put Alfa Romeo in 10th as well. So yeah, good stuff indeed. We've done 1 out of 1.
I know. I can't believe it. I would like to make a prediction though here. I reckon he's going to be Zhou Guan Yu is going to be rookie of the season.
Okay, well, in that case, he is going to go for points. Wait, is he the only rookie? He's the only
Yeah.
rookie, isn't he? Oh, that's you got me there. You got me there. That's fair enough. Yeah. So rookie of the season goes to Guan Yu Zhou already, or Xu Guan Yu, whatever it is. He's already got it. It's in the bag. So good stuff indeed. But yeah, on to ninth place then in your constructors. What have you got there?
I've got Haas, but I'm not too sure about Haas
Okay.
because when we've been watching testing, they've had all kinds of issues with the freight and stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I wasn't really sure about that, but I'm going to put them ninth for now because I'm going safe on this one.
Hmm.
Of course, Mick Schumacher usually does really well in his second year, and I hope and I really think that they will get points this season. Haas will. I don't think. I don't. I think I'm sounding a bit short here, but I don't think they're going to be like catapulted up the order, but they will be on the tail end of that midfield group, I reckon. And of course, now Kevin Magnussen driving for Haas as well. K Mag back in the seat, absolutely love it. Of
Good
course,
stuff. Yeah.
we don't want to go in all the political stuff and things like that, but I wasn't really a fan of what's his name? Mazepin. He's
Matt.
only been gone a week. I've forgotten who he is.
Which one is it? Begins with M.
Yeah, there's too many M's in here. Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, gosh. But I wasn't a big fan of Mazepin. I mean, yeah, as a driver, he's quite aggressive, maybe a bit too aggressive, especially in some of his Formula Two antics. And when he was at the back of the field as well, him and Mick got very close for comfort, and I think that would, as a team boss, like you don't want to upset Gunter Steiner, do you? It doesn't matter who's paying the pay packet. I would never want to cross him. So Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, really interested to see how it goes, and yeah, looking forward to that. I can't really call who's going to win the team battle in that one.
Hmm.
I feel that Kevin Magnussen may have the edge.
Well, so long as he doesn't do anything to Gunter's door, he should be okay. So, keep it PG. But yeah, so yeah, I see where you're coming from on that one. I think, like I said, I haven't put Haas in ninth. You'll find
Oh,
out where they are in my order. But I've actually gone for I've gone for Aston Martin. Um, it might be a bit of a harsh one that, but I think they're they had this. Well, they're the same as Alpine and things like that. They've all got this 3-year plan, and I don't see Aston Martin going forwards anymore. Unfortunately, like I said, I think they've had the time, they had the money to spend on developing their car. They had obviously when Lawrence Stroll first came in, they had all that money and they just copied the Mercedes. They had a really good season then, and then when they've actually been told to make their own car, it's not gone the right way. It's gone backwards. They had a bit of a struggle last season, and I don't see that changing in this season as well. So I think they've got two great drivers, and I think like Stroll and Vettel are still pretty capable. But I just don't think that car's going to be. I don't think that car's going to be any better than it was last season. And I think the other teams that will have had more time to develop this car for this season as well will be able to be a bit further ahead of them. I still maybe see them grabbing a point here or there, but I don't think they're going to be. Maybe with Vettel, but I don't see that car being a great team, to be fair. So yeah, that's why I put them down so far in ninth. But I'm expecting it might be a bit changed, but yeah, that's why I put them down that far.
do you think is that because of Otmar leaving? Do you think he's quite a big presence, or
I I think he obviously he was running that team since what was it Force India days, wasn't it?
yeah,
Was it? Yeah, it was Force India. So I'm getting the Racing Point and Force India confused. Which one was which?
along with Midland, Jordan, and everyone else that they was
Yeah.
called Spiker? Gosh, they need to stop
Well,
it.
he's been around since the Force India days. Let's put it there. So I mean I think he did a fantastic job with that team. And before, when it was Force India, even Racing Point at the beginning, it was about having a much smaller budget than the teams, but making the best out of it. And they did that. They were sort of third or fourth even in the constructors in some seasons when it was early on, as Force India that was as well. Back when Suter was racing, great driver.
Yes,
Um, but then since Lawrence Stroll's come in with all of his money, they've had no progression in my opinion. They've had the injection of the cash, but they haven't actually been able to do anything with it. And last season was meant to be the actual Aston Martin car, which they had to have developed themselves because they couldn't just copy the Mercedes again, and it just didn't perform very well. I think they finished 7th in the constructors last season, and yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them going any further forward. I think they might drop back a little bit as well compared to the others. So that's why ninth is where they've gone for me. But yeah, moving on to your eighth. So we've gone a bit different now. We started off with Alfa Romeo at the same, but now we've gone back round the other way round. So yeah, what's your eighth team then? Because you're going to be mixed up a bit now.
I think to us, it looks like we're sharing a common opinion here because I've gone Aston Martin for 8th.
Right.
The car looks pretty appalling to drive, doesn't it? In the clips I've seen on testing, you say 2 great drivers. I'd say 1 great driver, 1 good driver. I'll let you to decide on who's who.
Yeah, I was being nice.
See, I'm not. It's a Sunday. I've had my roast. I love life, so I'm being a bit brutal today. Vettel, I think, showed some class. I don't think he's the same driver that he was at Red Bull, because Red Bull was very much around him. Aston Martin probably going to still be. I ain't going to be like around him as much because of course, with Lance. It is, yeah, Lance. Oh gosh, too many Lances and Lawrence as well. But yeah, the Aston Martin car. It looks a bit bulky, doesn't it? It feels like a. If anyone's old enough to remember, if anyone remember those horrible 40 cars that were so like it was a bit thick, and I think that's what the Aston Martin is, a bit thick.
It's a thick car.
It's a very thick car. I don't know. I mean, it hurts me to say this because I really want Aston Martin to do well and I want Vettel to do well, but 8th position for me, and I really do want him to do well because I want to hear from Mike Crack. I love it.
Yeah, well, he's going to do a great job, I'm sure. Mike Crack. Yeah.
He's going to do a cracking job, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it might be the last season of Vettel to be in a sort of competitive car. I don't think Aston Martin will be far off, like I said, but yeah, I think it might be his last few years sort of dwindling now. But yeah, in 8th for myself, I've gone for AlphaTauri. So again, I don't think on the driver's side, I think Yuki is cut out for it, I'm afraid. You just saw towards the end of the season where he should be getting used to the car and actually performing well. He was not. He was getting worse in some cases. He started off really well in Bahrain. I think he qualified in the top 10 in the first race of the season. But yeah, just hasn't sort of materialised for him since. And that team was being carried by Gasly through that whole season. So I don't think Gasly will be able to keep up the performances that he did last season. Obviously, the regulation changes will come into effect, and that will affect the performance of the car. So that's why I'm guessing that they'll be there or thereabouts, but I don't think they'll get many points. And I think if there is any points, it will be coming from Gasly, as it was last season for the majority as well. But I think they'll have less points overall, and that's why I put them down in 8th. So yeah.
Quick question.
Sorry.
Quick question. No. Quick question. If you think Tsunoda's not going to cut the mustard, do you reckon he's going to be replaced?
I don't think he'll be replaced this season, but I think he'll be replaced at the end of the season potentially. Yes.
Cool. Anyway, as you were.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, as they are a junior team. They're literally just meant to be a feeder team for Red Bull, of course. So I don't see they're going to be midfield or there or thereabouts sort of thing. So that's why I put them down in 8th, because I think they'll have a bit more difficulties than the other teams that are going to be in the midfield as well. So that's that really. So yeah. So that's our eighth spot. And then who have you got in 7th then?
I've got AlphaTauri.
Okay, yeah.
Reason why a lot of the things you've already listed, a junior team, which hurts me to say because there's technically only 9 teams on the grid, isn't it? And that's rubbish. But Gasly's fantastic, and I could see him leaving at the end of the season. Where he'll go, I have no idea at the moment. We'll see how that progresses. But yeah, Tsunoda, I don't know. I like Sonoda, and I'm trying my best because I think he's a cool guy. But oh, gosh, it sounds like a dating thing, doesn't it? But
We'll hook you up. Don't worry.
oh yes, please. But I don't. Maybe we're being a bit harsh on Sonoda, but I'm in your ballpark. I think with this, he did well in Bahrain, but to be fair, they did a lot of testing in Bahrain before they went out there. So, and AlphaTauri, that car has been pretty good in Bahrain over the years as well. I think Gasly get P4 in his debut race there or something like that a couple of years ago,
Yeah, and I think
2019.
he was running in the sort of middle of the points, wasn't he, in last season?
Yeah.
So
So
points of it.
yeah, so AlphaTauri, yeah, Sonoda, yeah, I could see him getting dropped actually during the season. Personally, if he doesn't if he doesn't produce the goods now, I can just see him getting out. But the question is, who will be in his place? But that's a different podcast, isn't it, Alex? Good gosh,
Kimi Raikkonen.
yes, get him back.
New young driver coming in. Kimi Raikkonen's coming in.
I'm not sure if you heard this Fernando Alonso guy. He was pretty good in the young driver test a year ago.
Well, that's
Yeah.
potentially. I was just going to say when you talked about Gasly potentially moving on, I think maybe Alpine could be a destination for him if he does move on as well. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
do you reckon Alonso's going to go then?
I think he might do. I don't. Well, we'll have to see where we put Alpine in our predictions as well. Whether they're going to be competitive enough for Alonso, or if he's going to have a GP2 engine.
Rawr. Anyway, yeah. But AlphaTauri for me, it's a tidy package, but it's nothing special, I don't think. So,
Yeah.
Aston Martin, now I'm going to be battling for, this kind of battling for the scraps of points, I think, if any at all.
Yeah. So, in seventh as well. I wanted to my list up. Got in seventh. They are in seventh. Yes, because I thought I got my list wrong. So, in seventh, I've got Williams. So I think obviously they'll be able to improve on last season. They did a fantastic job last season as well. The team of Latifi and Russell, of course, did a really good job, I think. And obviously Hungary was their standout race, and I think only because 5 drivers basically DNF'd at the beginning of that race were they in the points in that one. Thanks to Bottas.
Hero.
Yeah, but I think the work that both Russell and Latifi put into that car to develop it as well, to help develop it, and the work obviously from the factory, it's really coming through, and they are on that trajectory where they're going further up rather than sort of dropping back again or staying where they were. So I see them moving a bit further forward. I don't think they'll be. They'll be in the points every race, obviously, but I think they'll be able to at least grab a couple of points, sort of every other race or here and there, sort of thing, to at least propel them a bit further forward than what they were last season as well. So yeah, I've gone for 7th for Williams, and I think they've got with the new company, the Dorito Lon, owning them now, they've got a bit more investment as well, and I see that just helping them because they have been on a long sort of development path. From the last sort of 2 or 3 seasons where they were right at the back of the field and couldn't compete, to now when they were competing pretty well. And obviously we saw like Russell was doing a great job. We saw in Spa in the qualifying sort of thing with putting it on in P2 on the front row in a Williams that wasn't expected to be anywhere near the front row. So yeah, I think that it's going to carry on that trajectory. Obviously Russell and Latifi put in the work as well, and I see Albon coming in and being a consistent driver there as well as Latifi, who's going to carry on doing what he's been doing as well. So, yeah, that's why I've gone for 7th for them.
I'm surprised you didn't say that Spa was the best race for Williams, because I thought they were fantastic to finish second in 2 laps.
Well, I don't class it as much of a race, to be honest. Hungary, I think they finished 6th and 7th. Well, no, 7th and 8th, I think it was, because obviously I think they finished 8th and 9th on track, but then Vettel got disqualified, so I think they finished 7th and 8th. So yeah, I think in terms of actual racing, they both did a really good job on that one. And yeah, one thing that I saw recently as well was one of the team radios of that race, where Russell's obviously behind Latifi, or a couple of places behind Latifi in that race, and he's saying, "Do whatever you need to do, sacrifice my race to make sure Latifi gets some good points for us here." And I think that sort of shows the sort of work ethic and things like that both the drivers and the team have been sort of focusing on, and it was really good to show or to see them get their first points in. I think it was 2 years, wasn't it, in that race? So yeah, it was fantastic stuff indeed. But yeah, so 7th for Williams for me. P6 in the constructors for you, Sean.
I've gone for Williams, so it's quite nice that our lists are quite similar, isn't
it? It's quite similar, yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite chuffed by this, but I have a feeling that if it goes completely wrong during the season, then we might be out of a job, Alex. So
that's fine. I don't mind being out of a job.
Yeah, I might be able to do something now on a Monday. Anyway,
all predictions have our own terms and conditions.
Yes.
In store for details.
And yes, if we are completely wrong, please remove the video as quickly as possible. Hyperdrive, thank you. Yeah, I've gone for Williams as well. Very much similar to you. Good investment as well. I think that the car just looks really nice from my point of view. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just really like the blue. I'm just like, ooh, blue.
More blue.
More blue. I love a little blue. Latifi solid, if not spectacular. But to be fair, George Russell is quite high up on people's lists of how good he is and stuff like that. And Latifi did do very well against Russell in some races. So yeah, so he's solid, if not spectacular. Alex Albon, it'd be interesting to see how he bounces back from the demotion from Red Bull into the Williams team. Hopefully he can flourish again because he's such a nice guy. He really is. He is really a nice guy. But yeah, hopefully Williams will do well. But yeah, mid-pack for Williams, nothing more to say. A good investment for Dorrington Capital, or whatever it like to be called, Doritos. Dorito Lond. But that's it really for Williams. They're just going to be there. But I think that's a massive improvement for Williams, so good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I see them getting some good points here and there. So yeah, potential for Williams to crack on from last season, even though they did pretty well last season with what they had, I think. Yeah, we'll see them sort of hopefully do a bit better. In P6, I've got Haas. So yeah, a lot different to you. I think you put them down in P8 or something like that, but P8, P9. Yeah, okay. The reason I've gone for Haas in P6 is this was before the driver changes as well, actually, to be fair. I think they've had a lot of development time. They've literally spent all of last season developing this car. Literally spent all of their investment, all of their time, all the money they could on this car, whereas other teams obviously haven't had that luxury. And I see there being a lot of improvement in that car just because of that time and effort that they put into it. Steiner's a fantastic team boss, so he's brilliant. I want him to be doing really well. But I think they've had, like I said, they've just literally they just gave up on last season, and they knew that they wanted to bring in the young drivers, the rookie drivers who had never raced in F1 before, because they were cheap, to save some money to spend on developing the next car. So I think that's where it's gone, and that's where the investment from Ural Kali and whatever else has gone on to as well. So I see them hopefully just having a better performance overall this season, being back to almost where they were when they originally entered the sport, where they could compete pretty regularly for points here and there, so long as they don't mess up the pit stops. And then take it from there. Really, I think that's all they've got. Really, they've had that extra time. They've had that. Literally, they've spent as much sort of attention to detail as they can on developing this car because of the new regulations. That they will be P6. I did put this in before the change of driver. Of course, they got Mick Schumacher, who I think is going to be much better this season. Absolutely fantastic driver, and did really well actually to compete in what was a horrible car last season. So I see him doing a good job and a better job and competing for some points as well. But obviously we saw Mazepin, like you just said earlier, being booted out, which is nice, and being replaced by a friendly face of Kevin Magnussen as well. So yeah, I think it'll be good to have him back on the grid as well. Like I said, I think when they had the well, the original pairing basically, wasn't it, from of Haas when they had Roman Grosjean and Magnussen starting off their campaign as an F1 team. So yeah, good to have him back, and I think obviously he had that relationship with Gunther Steiner as well to be able to
And his
jump back in
door.
that seat. And his door, yeah. So hopefully the doors will stay safe this season. But yeah, I see obviously Magnussen with that car that well I believe will be a much better performing car as well. I see Magnussen being able to do what Mick can do as well is and just fighting for the P8s, the P9s, that sort of thing for a few points here and there. But I think, like I said, we've gone through probably 3 or 4 teams from sixth down to ninth that can probably be competing for the last few points as well. So I think it's going to be really close. But I think their Haas car is going to be much better than it was last season. So yeah, well, fingers crossed for them anyway. It's
Yeah,
turned into a nice team now. It's turned into a team that I actually want to look at, want to enjoy now because they've got rid of all of the horrible people, and and now they've got Mick Schumacher, and they're obviously a great name to have on the grid, and then Magnussen's back as well. So yeah, I want Haas to do well now. So yeah, looking forward to that.
with Kevin Magnussen in there, do you reckon they're going to get P3 in the constructors because he's amazing?
No,
Shocking.
put them sixth.
I thought he was going to double their position in their in their ability.
Well, if it happens, then I'll just take your word for it. Then I'm going to say yeah, I'll put them in P3 now, but I'm going to keep them P6 on my predictions for now. But yeah, I hope they finish P3 because that'd be great. So.
Yeah, I generally hope you're right on that one because I'd love to see Haas back in there.
Yeah, and well, we're halfway through now. We've got P5 in the constructors. Then for you, Sean.
I've gone for McLaren. Um,
Okay.
they're struggling with their brakes at the moment. They're having a bit of a. Lando Norris has been doing all the legwork as well because Danny Rick has been ill, and then he's had the dreaded COVID as well, hasn't he?
Yep.
So Lando Norris has been doing all the legwork. I think he had 200 laps or something in the end, but they're struggling with their brakes at the moment, aren't they? And I'm hoping that I'm completely wrong on this one, but I feels like I don't know. I just feel that they're just there, and there's
Yep.
not really much more to say on them at the moment. I love to be wrong because I really want them. But I we love seeing McLaren 1-2 and Imola. I was close. Monza.
It is in the same country. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too far away, only 100 miles or so. But yeah, McLaren for me, it hurts me to say, but P5, and I think that's me being generous as well.
Right. Okay. Interesting stuff. I think. Well, we'll talk about them later. Uh, so yeah, you got P5 is McLaren. For us, I've gone for Alpine again. I think um, they've had a change the obviously to the team, but to the engine I believe it is as well. Can't quite remember what
Is
it
it?
was now, but
It's the fuel,
um,
isn't it? Like it's causing problems though, but it's the fuel, isn't it? They've gone to this 10% less eco-friendly, which is very technical of saying it.
more eco-friendly I think it is.
That's the
I think they're trying to save the planet rather than kill it. So,
one. Gosh, yeah, I'm not on the green wagon, am I? Oh, better get off.
but yeah, well, I'm not quite sure. I think they've had a complete change. So again, it could go completely wrong and backfire, and they could be down in ninth or last even. Um, but so I hope not for Alonso's sake, or for Alpine's sake when they hear the team radio. But yeah, I've gone for fifth because I think they'll be there or thereabouts as well. I think they'll be as competitive as they were last season. Of course, they got fifth last season in the constructors as well. And I see, like I said, Ocon developing a bit more, being more of a team player there. And Alonso obviously has the ability to get good points for the team as well. So yeah, I think they'll be P5 there or thereabouts as well. Not seen too much of them as well, so potentially they could be a bit lower as well, moving Haas up the order. But yeah, I think P5 is probably around the mid-table is where they'll be anyway. So I think they'll be able to at least stay competitive from what they were last season and maybe try and push on a bit further. But the midfield, I think, is going to be much closer. So I've gone to keep them in the same sort of position as they are now. So that's that really. Not much to say on Alpine. That's about it. That's about that. So there we go. And there we go. On to P4 then for yourself in the constructors.
It sounds really odd, but I've gone for Alpine for P4, but I haven't really got much to say on them. I'm a bit like you. I've done my list, and they've just ended up fourth.
They're the one that you couldn't remember.
Yeah. If you asked me this list after Barcelona, I would have put them down in like ninth, eighth, around the Aston Martins. But I think in Bahrain they've done what they need to do. It's a bit of a tick box exercise, and they've done everything they need to do. And yeah, I think Ocon is looking fairly like happy with life, and you can tell when he's not happy, can't you, with Ocon? So yeah, I'm using my psychiatry level at 0 to base that on. But yeah, I think that they've sorted out the fuel issue. I think, or judging from what Ted was saying, that it's not a problem anymore. So sorting it and not a problem anymore is two different things, isn't it? Really, but yeah, Alpine for P4. I'd love to see Fernando Alonso continue, but I think I'm in your boat, Alex, where we're going to see an end of an era this year with both Vettel and Alonso hanging up. I'd love to see Alonso get one more win now. Really, really would be quite cool to see. Ocon got a win last year. They have also Alan Prost, haven't they? Which I'm not too sure on that. Yeah, he has had a reputation. If anyone was a fan of F1 in the early '90s, he did upset Ferrari by saying about some unflattering words about the car. So yeah, but I think Alan Prost. Always have Alan Prost in your corner in a team is very important. So it's like the Niki Lauda effect in Mercedes, in my opinion, where you probably do need a driver to help guide you along. But when you got Fernando in the car, do you really need a driver to help him along? I'll contradict myself now, Alex. So on to your fourth.
Well, as I said, Lauda was much better than Prost, so there we go.
Ooh, controversial.
In P4 for myself, I have gone for McLaren, so literally switching Alpine and McLaren around, both of us. Yeah, I've gone for P4. I think they'll actually be closer to the top three this season as well. I'm looking forward to what obviously Norris and Ricciardo can do as a pairing as well. Again this season, I think the car never really was in the favour of Ricciardo last season. I think it was probably favouring Norris, potentially with the testing, like you just said, with Ricciardo being ill and having COVID as well now in the Bahrain testing, that it might even tweak it a bit more in Norris's favour anyway. But I see, having got to grips with the car a bit more, I see McLaren being up there, because I think both the drivers will be able to push on from what they did last season. I think last season they were capable of competing for wins, as we saw on the odd occasion, and I think that they'll be able to get on a few more podiums this season as well. So yeah, I'm going to go there or thereabouts, P4 for McLaren as well. I like where Zach Brown's taking them, developing the team for the last few years as well. They've had that 3-year plan, and it's been working, whereas other teams have got their 3-year plan and it's not been working. So I think Zach Brown as the lead guy there is doing a fantastic job, and I see them going a bit further up than what they were last season. So yeah, I put them P4.
Yeah, I agree with you that. Zach Brown is one of the best team principals. Is he a team? I don't know what he is now, but he's one of the best team bosses on the grid, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's fantastic. So yeah, I do agree that he is like a really good team principal.
Okay, P3 then. Who've gone P3?
Now this is going to be interesting. Hang on,
Ooh.
I've gone Mercedes.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. All right.
Yeah, well, this is completely wrong, isn't it? When we get to Bahrain next week, it's going to be
Blimey.
completely. At the moment, that car looks appalling for Mercedes' standards.
Right.
Yeah, the side podless, or whatever you want to call it, podless is really cool to watch. It looks like a fighter jet, and it does look so seamline and slick. But I don't know. I'm just getting vibes that it's not a car that's if Bahrain happened tomorrow, I don't think they'll be winning. I don't think they'll be on the podium.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough. So what? So but they're going to be P3 to start with, but they're going to just stay P3 throughout the season as well.
I don't know. It's the development race, isn't it? I've
Over the
gone for,
season, Sean. You've got to predict the whole season.
yeah, I know. I've gone for a gamble with some of these, to be fair, because Mercedes are pretty good with the old development race, aren't they? The reason why I put Aston Martin so low, actually, and Haas, was because of the development race. I think they're both not very good at developing their cars throughout the season.
Okay.
But I don't know. With Mercedes, yeah, it's gone bold here. I'm probably going completely wrong, but I think that Mercedes are going to be further constructed at the end of the season.
Fair enough. No, so we'll see how it goes. So, I've gone for Ferrari. I think they've done a great job actually. I'm looking at the testing and how the car sort of looks and how it performs. I think Leclerc will kick on. He'll do even better than he did last season, and I think Sainz will be there as well. Again, I think still battling with the McLarens, but I think both the McLaren and Ferrari will be nearer to the top two that we're accustomed to, and I think they'll be able to challenge a bit more for the podiums, that sort of thing. So they'll be getting more points over the season as well, and taking points off the Red Bulls and Mercedes as well. I think overall, both those teams. So yeah, I've gone for Ferrari P3. I think they'll have much more competitive package, and I think the driver pairing compared to the McLaren will be just slightly a bit better in terms of performance as well. So I think that's why I've gone for P3 for Ferrari as well. So yeah, I think they'll be there as well. I think it could be between McLaren and Ferrari as well, P3 and P4. But yeah, it'd be somewhere around there. So yeah, P3 from Ferrari in my opinion.
Do you like their side pods?
I do. Yeah, I like anything that's interesting about any car. So I like the Mercedes side podless car as well. To be fair, so whichever way anybody wants to do it, so long as it makes it look interesting, then I don't mind. If it makes the car a bit faster as well, it's helpful. But I don't know if we've seen any difference from them from either of them really, for the Ferrari side pods or the Mercedes podless.
A
So
beautiful car is a fast car, Alex.
there we go then. There we go. So, well, we're getting there. We're getting there. We've got two left. So, who have you got? Well, do you want to reveal them both and then talk about the second person? So second place. So, who have you got in P2 and P1? And then what are you going to talk about? Tell us about why you put whoever's in P2 and P2.
I can't tell you why because I don't know
Okay.
myself.
All right then. Never mind.
But I've gone for Ferrari P2, and I think Red Bull are going to win the constructors. The I've changed me. It's so difficult because I thought Ferrari had the best package overall over the course of the testing until yesterday, where Red Bull brought a load of bits and bobs, like literally there's a load of boxes that came to their garage, and that's complete. And those bits and pieces, God knows what they were, have completely changed the car. I think so. Red Bull have gone from maybe floating around the Mercedes area, like second or third quickest car, to now being comfortably fastest. Because I think Verstappen and Perez, I'm doing the cardinal sin, Alex. I'm looking at the times, aren't I? But they look pretty amazing. I think they're both P1 and 2 yesterday in the end. So Red Bull, I think, have taken a step forward in the development race already. Ferrari, I really think they're going to do well this season, and the pairing of Leclerc and Sainz, I think, is stronger than the pairing of Verstappen and Perez. No disrespect to Perez, but sometimes he doesn't cut the mustard. And I think that the Ferrari have actually got a better team than Mercedes. The Mercedes with Hamilton and Russell. Maybe I'm playing Russell a bit down at the moment, but I feel that Russell will get in his stride, but I think it would take a bit of time. Whilst I think Ferrari with Sainz and Leclerc are gonna produce some magic. But then again, I said this about Sainz last year or the year before, so there you go. Where he's
Well,
going to take a while to bed in.
obviously I went for Ferrari P3, so no, Ferrari are my top two. My top two are the same top two as they were last season, and they're in the same order as they were last season. Red Bull P2 and Mercedes P1. Um, I think Red Bull had the best car last season. Development-wise, I think Mercedes were doing a lot to catch up, and they did. They did win the constructors overall. Um, I think Red Bull will be pushing them a lot harder, even harder this season. But I think Mercedes will have development throughout the season that's going to be coming on to make that car a lot better. We've seen the classic line already from Lewis. the car isn't going to be competing for wins. That means they're going to win in Bahrain. Um, and I think Russell will be there or thereabouts, getting some good podiums, getting some good results, and I think he's better than Perez, so he'll be getting more points than Perez as well. So yeah, I see Mercedes being on top, Red Bull being P2 again, and yeah, that's pretty much it really for me. So that's my order.
Do you reckon Russell's going to get a win?
Yes, definitely. When
Yeah.
Verstappen takes out Lewis, Russell was going to be there for P3, so in P3, so he's going to get it done and dusted. That's done. So simple. But that's the constructors side of things overall, done and dusted. Hopefully, some of them will be right. We'll find out. Should we go back to it at the end of the season and see what it's like? See what it's like?
No.
No. Okay, we'll forget about it. We'll delete the video afterwards as well. But then on to the drivers. We're just going to do the top 5 drivers in our opinion. If you want to speed through them, or maybe do the top fifth to third, and then leave the top 2. So yeah, who's your fifth to third drivers?
I got Sainz P5,
Mm-hmm.
Russell P4, and Hamilton P3.
Okay.
I'm putting all my stock on Ferrari, and I'm gonna be going down with the ship.
Yeah. I've gone Perez, obviously P5, Leclerc P4, and Russell P3. I don't think, from your lineup as well, I don't think you'll be able to split many of them anyway. It's going to be really close this season between the Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes. I believe that anybody out of those names could be in that order, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be that way sort of thing as well. So it's going to be tough to predict the drivers. So we've only gone with the top 5, but yeah, I think you went with Sainz. I've gone with Perez. We've both got Leclerc in there. You've got Hamilton in there though. So yeah, you're doing a disservice to the goat. But nevertheless, we'll crack on. I mean, yeah, obviously we'll obviously come back to that as well. We'll have a look at that as well later on in the season. See how that's going. Maybe a midway point.
Yeah, half-term report of how wrong I've got it.
How wrong we've gone, yeah. And then who've you got P2 and P1?
So again, this is going to be completely wrong. I got Verstappen for P2 because I think Leclerc is going to be the champ.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. All right, no, fair enough. Oh my, well that'd be great. To be fair, I wouldn't mind that because I would like to see somebody different out in the Red Bull Mercedes sort of get there and win it. No, I said I've gone for Leclerc P4, so yeah, I don't think he's going to be that high up. But yeah, okay. Well, and Verstappen P2 as well, so he's not going to be able to compete with the Ferrari. Well, he's going to miss out to the Ferrari, basically.
Yeah, I'll be very contradictory here because I'm sure I'll put Red Bull as the constructor. So that means Perez is going to have to do better somehow, isn't he?
Maybe Sainz doesn't score any points for the season.
Potentially. If I put Sainz as P4, P5 in my top 5, so somehow something's got to give here, hasn't it?
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, we've got, that's the order from Sean. I've gone for the same top 2 as we had last season, but I've gone with them the other way around. I've gone Hamilton first and Verstappen in second. He's going to bounce back 100%. That's all I've got to say, really. He'll be back fighting, and he'll be just more determined than ever. I think the car maybe will be a bit slower at the beginning of the season, like you said, but give it a few races, and the development side will kick in. The upgrades will come through from Mercedes as well. Like I said, they'll be cracking on with that already. To be honest, I think. So yeah, I think the GOAT's going to win his 8th.
And a quick question, because I think we're almost out of time, is do you think Hamilton's going to be a bit more robust in his defending? Because I think last year he did, let's just say, he was very kind to Verstappen. Do you think he's going to be a bit more slamming the door shut this year?
100%. And I think that's what he should have done last season as well in some cases. Having rewatched the races like Saudi Arabia and Monza, I don't see that. I think that it's going to change Lewis's driving style to be a more like my driving against Max Verstappen. We've seen obviously some drivers competing against Max Verstappen who have jumped out of the way because they know what he's like, and I think that that's going to just cause more of the same. I think in this case, because I believe that those two drivers, Hamilton and Verstappen, will be fighting for the title and the titles, I suppose, as well. But the drivers' title mainly again, and I think Hamilton's just going to be pushing much harder this season because I think he's coming towards the end of his career overall. I think when he wins that 8th, I believe it probably will be his last season, and I think it might be this season. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to him winning it, but I think it will probably be his last season if he does win it as well. To be fair.
Well, you know what? Because you said that, I don't want him to win. I'll miss my Hamilton.
There we go. Then that's the end of the episode. Like I say, we'll put the drivers up and things like that as well on the screen. So yeah, feel free to give us your comments on obviously what your predictions are as well in the comment section. Let us know if we got it wrong or how badly we got it wrong, and then obviously we'll take it from there. But like I said, we'll do a little recap hopefully at the end of the season if we remember to see what it's like. But maybe we'll do it on a private video, so we'll private the video so nobody can see it. So don't worry, Sean.
Yeah, so, let's not release this for a while.
But yeah, so that'll be that for today's podcast. Like I said, just a short one today, getting the predictions on the table. But thanks very much for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week.